How you guys doing? My name is James Garcia, and for my TED Talk analysis video, I will be doing Esha Alwani, and the title of her video is What It's Like to Have Tourette's and How Music Gave Me Back Control. So, Esha Alwani is a musician who has been suffering from Tourette's since the age of 6 years old. And although she is not a specialist in neurology, although she is not a specialist in the disease of Tourette's, she is, however, an informant and someone who has been suffering from Tourette's a majority of her life. And essentially, some components within her TED Talk video that I found very, very interesting were how she spoke of a politician who was once shot in the head and how she was not able to have the ability to speak anymore. Essentially, what the doctors told her was that the components of the brain that allow someone to speak and the component of the brain that allows someone to sing are actually two different components. So essentially, the politician was able to get her thoughts out by using the sound of singing rather than her own speech per se. Another very interesting component within her TED Talk speech was she spoke of how once she was diagnosed with Tourette's, how many doctors had prescribed her many painkillers and many other pills that had given her hallucinations. They had given her severe numbness to a point where she literally had to have been in a wheelchair for a small part of her life. And, although there was no visual aid within the TED Talk, she did a very good job at constructing the audience and delivering her main points. Although I will say at the end of her video, she did give out a brief musical performance per se, that allowed her to show the audience that she had control over her Tourette's syndrome during her musical performance. And then just overall, the delivery was great. She had great composure. You could tell the speech was very much outlined. She had a structure to her speech. There was an introduction. And I would say that, there was a lack of movement on her part. She was very, composed. She was very straightforward, and she was not moving a lot. She would have frequent hand moving, as I am right now. But the only part I would say is that her Tourette's, she did have a little bit of a Tourette's issue. And I mean, obviously she cannot control that, but that was part of her speech. And the speech was very much informative rather than persuasive. I could tell that she was trying to inform you about her experiences, what she found that worked for her having Tourette's, and how she used music as a way to help her escape her Tourette's. And, just like another connection was it was very well outlined. It was very well prepared, as much as, we do in our classrooms when it comes to our speeches. And I could tell that she had worked very hard. She had done a very nice job with her key evidence. She had a great energy that just very much attracted the audience to want to listen to her speech as a whole. And then just structurally, in the beginning, she had an attention grabber in which she spoke of how Tourette's has severely affected her life and how it began affecting her life. And, I would say her introduction to her TED Talk was maybe a little too broad, but she did structure it enough to, per se, tell you what she was going to talk about in bullet points within the TED Talk, specifically about medicine and how she got started listening to music to help her Tourette's and how she became a musician as a whole. Her body was very, very effective. She spoke very briefly and very strongly and passionately about her body points, which were obviously, her having to deal with Tourette's and using music as that main source that just allowed her to escape from that zone that trapped her, And in conclusion, she mainly just spoke about how it all changed her. She just spoke of how it very, very much impacted her life, discovering music. But then really to conclude it all, she gave the live performance in which everyone could see that, her Tourette's were not affected when she performed and sang live playing the piano. And then I believe her structure style was very perfect for this type of speech. I don't think she needs to change her structure style at all. I think maybe her introduction could have been a little bit more informative, but for the most part, she was very engaging, and I feel as if the audience very much did enjoy her speech. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk analysis video, and have a good day.